So we've talked about the 2017 Mummy movie, but what about the 1999 movie? Does it stand up today? Does it sort of match up or compare favourably when it gets a rewatch compared to what we've now got today? Let's have a talk about that. So the 1999 Mummy, just watched it, having watched the one last week at the cinema. I thought, I want to go back and I want to watch it again because I have very fond memories of the 1999 Mummy and I wanted to see how it stands up today. Now, just for those of you who may not have seen this, this is very much your action, adventure, fantasy movie. I'm not going to say it's a horror movie though. Yes, there is the odd scary bits, but this doesn't really rely on jump scares. It doesn't have too many creeping through spooky corridors waiting for stuff to sort of come at you. This is more action, funny, adventure. Maybe that much scary, not really scary. That's not to say that the Mummy, who's played by Arnold Vosloo, isn't scary. He does a great job as the Mummy. He's kind of, you know, got this kind of scary, broody kind of, you know, he's got that kind of intensity and sort of despicableness that you want from that sort of character. Actually, I thought he was a great Mummy. You've got Brendan Fraser plays the lead character. He's got that roguish, charming, adventurer type thing. We've got Rachel Weisz. She plays kind of the romantic interest, but she's also very clever, has fantastic sort of historical knowledge, and it's nice to see, you know, that kind of, especially back in '99 when things were maybe a tad more sexist than they are today. Not that we're perfect today, but it was probably less perfect back then. And she plays a really sort of good character with her own story, her own, you know, she brings things to the film. She's not just there to look good. She has got her own proper, useful role, key role to the movie as well. And then we've got John Hannah, who very much plays the kind of comedy sidekick, foil, kind of almost to both of those characters as well. And there is also a very good supporting cast throughout the film. So whereas, as I think back to the 2017 Mummy movie, I really only can think of about 4 characters in the film. I know there were supporting characters, but they were so really anonymous. I'm not saying they were bad, they just were so minor in what they did. You didn't really have any sense of there being much scale to the cast. Whereas here, in this movie, there were lots of characters that we had little moments with, and even though we might not have had a lot of interaction with them, there was enough detail and scene setting and little bits of dialogue that you got a feel for who those characters were. They didn't all need to be fleshed out. That wasn't needed for the film. So it was just the right amount of other characters for you to have this feeling of depth to the film, that it was a proper universe, a proper world that had many inhabitants and things going on, which I think was maybe a little bit lacking in the more modern day version. This is a film with an £80 million budget. When you look at where we're at now in terms of figures, yes, it was a few years ago. You know, maybe I should do the sums for what that is inflation adjusted. But so it was a big budget movie of its time. It was directed by Stephen Sommers as well. As I said, not really a horror film, this film, much more action and fun. And I watched it last night and it's just got great pacing as well. The scene setting was good right from the beginning. When you're seeing ancient Egypt and you're seeing it there and all the developments, that looked brilliant. It was a really small part of the film, but it looked brilliant, totally set the beginning of the film. Then we're on to a battle, then we're on to this, then we're on to that. Then there's these characters up on this cliff and there's lots going on, and all these little moments contribute to a well-told story. Lovely script, the banter between some of the characters, the interplay, the exchanges on several times as well, not just once or twice, but several moments. There were little bits of dialogue where the timing was just right, and so many moments you found yourself smiling. Oh, that was good, that was funny, I like that, I like that, I like that. And they all land. I didn't remember any jokes that didn't land. Even some that maybe weren't that funny, they were just so well timed and executed, you found yourself smiling. You sort of look back and think, was that actually that funny? I don't know, but I still enjoyed it. So again, kudos to the director, to the script, to the actors. They gave us this enjoyable experience, which is really what the film is. And I think from start to finish, it was all told. It was all well told. So we've talked about what's great. Let's touch on maybe what's not so great. Not much, to be frank. I was sitting there watching the film and I just enjoyed all of it. Start to finish, it was great. You could be harsh and say, yes, some of the special effects looked very 1999. They're not as up to date as what we have now, especially with the new Mummy. Visually, that really developed, visually, that really looked impressive on certain scenes. But a film isn't all about special effects, and the special effects were still pretty reasonable, just not as good as some of the things we get now. So I think the film is aging well, but maybe what it doesn't quite match the latest Mummy movie in terms of character development, interplay, banter, general storytelling, and the universe, the world in which the film is set in, it absolutely matches it. Well, it basically is better than the current Mummy movie. I mean, this is a 5-star movie. Make no doubt, this is a great movie. You're going to really enjoy this. It doesn't have the jump scares and it doesn't have the horror part, but what it lacks in that department, it makes up in every other department. So this is a great film. It's very enjoyable. You won't be disappointed if you sit down one night and watch this. It's definitely a fun film. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.